sure you've all been just dying to know, what's this building? It has just sat here half built for the whole series. Well, there's actually a pretty good reason for that. As I was building, I got to this part here. Building this kind of, I don't know what you call it, a balcony, I guess. One could say. Just, you know, in my mind, I was standing back looking at this and thinking, what does this need? What does this build need that will just make it all come together, make it pop, make it just look real nice. And so I thought, well, I'll just make this balcony a nice bright color, make it pop, make it kind of stand out from the build. That way the rest of the build can be this kind of, you know, drab, dreary looking rundown building, and then there's this nice bright balcony that kind of sticks out. And you know, first thing that came to mind was copper. Well, you get that weathered copper look, like that way up there, up on the tower, and it'll look so good. Just peeking out here, the balcony, with a little strip of copper coming out here. It'll have that bright turquoise against the, you know, I don't know what you call that, clay color, and the stone, and it would just really bring a point of interest to the build. But then I thought, what goes good with copper? Prismarine, my friends. So I made it a priority to finish the Guardian farm before I get back to this build, and so I did. And here we are with, you know, a portion of the spoils from the reward of building that farm. But then I realized, wait a minute, I'm missing one other thing. Because how well does this warped wood, you know, the fences and trapdoors and all that, match with the copper and the prismarine? Oh, so perfectly. It's like somebody thought, it's almost like somebody planned for this all to, like, you know, match well. Well, anyway, that's the story of why this is half built and why it's been sitting here so long. But now that I have all the materials that I need to work on designing up this bright colored, you know, focus point of the build, this bright colored balcony here, I'm gonna get to work. I'm excited. Alright, I've laid out just a little bit of a color palette here so that we can visualize, you know, kind of what it's gonna look like up there. Yeah, I feel like it's just helpful for me to kind of peek at the colors, the blocks from a distance, because this is kind of what they're gonna look like once it's all put in the build. You know, it's gonna be less. Each block is gonna be less distinguishable, and it's kind of gonna be the colors that they represent that you notice, especially from a distance. Good view up here. I think the first thing I'm gonna do is kind of work out a ceiling in there, connect this wall to that wall. Yeah. How good is this looking? I mean, I just put in some slabs and it's looking so much better already. That adds so much. Railing. Railing is important. Every balcony needs railing. So I've thrown in these pillars to kind of start the process here, get the, you know, structure, the base structure in place, and then work off of that. You know, I like to kind of shape out my builds first and then kind of go back through in detail. Like, you know, that ceiling will probably get a little roughed up, a little textured, but that comes later. Anyway, I got these pillars in place, and I had the idea then to bring out a frame all the way around, and kind of similar to that, you know, like which by the way, this is another unfinished build in case you couldn't tell. But anyway, I'm gonna get to work on building this little framework around the top and see how that turns out. Okay, just try for now to ignore the scaffolding. But this is what I was kind of going for, this structure here, you know, kind of like a enclosed pergola type feel for the entrance here. That's going to give it a much more intimate feel, you know. And from a distance, yeah, I think it's going to add a little bit of, I mean, it definitely adds some color and some interest and some shape to the build. You know, instead of it being just this straight, tall, flat building. It's going to have this framed structure off the side. I think it's going to look real nice, real nice, real nice. Anyway, there's much more detail to be done here. So, yeah, I'll be right back, you guys. All right, I think this is looking pretty nice, and I'm happy with it, at least for now. But you know, things change. It'll probably be tweaked. You know, I am already thinking about how these are going to be changed out with some andesite wall. But you know, other things will probably change, and I have the idea to kind of, you know, make this look overgrown, have leaves all over the top, you know. But onto the actual balcony, as you can see before you, I have lowered the walking floor here to a half slab height. I don't know if that'll stay, but I think I like the dynamicism. I think I like the dynamic change in the floor. So I've been working on texturing the walkway here and the pillars, and I think it's turning out pretty good, I think next step is to just kind of carry the texturing down through the staircase and see how that turns out. And I may have gone a little crazy here, but I think it looks really, really good, you guys. You know, Minecraft is a subjective game. It's a game of taste. You know, opinions and things, but in my opinion, this looks amazing. And I mean, I know it looks very worn down, dilapidated, and just, you know, kind of like it's falling apart. But I build in that style for a very specific reason, and that reason is here. This stone palette, you can get such a variety of blocks in here, right? And you can get such a variety of blocks and assign logic to them. Like, this, in my mind, was originally built out of stone bricks, and it was very clean construction, right? This corner wasn't crumbling. It stood strong. Imagine 1,000 years ago, this would have been pristine. But now, we gaze upon it, and we see the history. We see where blocks have been replaced. We see where the stucco that was once smoothed over the top has been eroding and exposing the brick once again. We see the erosion here in the staircase that is flooded and needed to be supported with wood. It's these sorts of things that can bring life into our builds and tell a story about how it got there and why it looks the way that it is. So all I'm really saying is building in this style where it's all, you know, crumbling, gives you the freedom to build these interesting shapes and work in all these varieties of blocks and have, you know, an explanation behind it, instead of it just being kind of random. Pretty neat. But let's check out the inside, because I've been working on it a little bit. It's not done yet, but I decided I'm going to go with this light blue terracotta on the inside, and for these walls, these aren't done either. But they're going to look more like this. I'm going to cover it in trapdoors and fences and probably replace some blocks with, you know, wood or barrels or such. I think that gives a really good depth and interest to walls, especially when you still don't know what this build is. Well, you've probably been hearing these fellas making a racket over here. Anyway, this is going to be their home. Yes, wonderful, amazing. But no, they will not be living inside. They will not be living a life of comfort and luxury. No, they will be working. They will be workers. This area right here, this little fenced-in bit of grass, will be transformed into a carrot field, I think, is what I'm going to go with. And those villagers are going to be farmers. And there's going to be their job to farm the field and eat those carrots and try to get into these beds and try to have babies in these beds. But it won't work. They will not get into the beds, and the babies will fall into this trench and be trapped forever. In other words, yes, this is going to be my villager breeder. That being said, this build is far from move-in ready. I still gotta, put in some windows, cover it in plants, build the entire back of it, just your typical builder stuff. But unfortunately, that means our friends here will be spending a little bit more time enjoying their tent. I mean, they love it. I'm just, I'm excited to get my world populated, really fill it with some life. But before I do that, there's a ton of building I gotta get done, including this build. There's a lot of work I have left to do on this because, I'm just one of those guys that I gotta get my details just right? I gotta take the time. And it does take time. So, it's a slow process, but in my opinion, it's worth it because the end result it's always better. Patience is key. But anyway, I'm pretty excited about what we got done today. I think the progress, it might not look like a lot, but it's significant, in my opinion. It's really, it's a good step forward. And now the build is more, formed out and has more of a direction. So the pace quickens, I think, at this point. But I have many details to work out still on this build. And it'll probably be one of those builds that I step away from multiple times. I mean, I stepped away from it already, and this is the first time I've revisited it. I don't want to take any ideas that I have and not do them full justice because I'm trying to rush the project. I got to take my time. Hey, if you liked the video and you liked my build style and all that kind of stuff, you just generally liked what's going on, hit that thumbs up, leave a like. If you aren't already and you want to stick around and see how this build is finished up, subscribe, join the family. And, if you have any suggestions, go ahead and leave those down in the comments. Or, if you just want to give me some feedback on the build, I'd love to hear what you guys think. But anyway, you guys, this is Tyrannosaurus Company, and until next time, take it easy, and peace.